Well, it's 11:25, and that means it's time for our chart of the day. This coming to us from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. This breaks out wage growth by age. And you'll see that purple line, the 16 to 24-year-old cohort, seeing the biggest jump. And that makes sense, right? And that's good because these are probably lower wage workers that are building up their careers. But the most interesting part is actually maybe the boring blue line. That's wage growth among those between 25 and 54. These are later stage careers that have always had slower wage growth. That makes sense because you've kind of stabilized your income at that point. But we haven't seen a surge like that little tick that you're seeing at the right-hand side there in over 20 years. And that may be part, Akiko, of why the Fed is starting to say things like unhealthy with regards to describing the labor market. And that's, again, probably because of that wage price spiral that some economists are worried is happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it kind of squares with what we're seeing, in terms of the data within the labor market, how tight things are. And then what we've heard consistently from companies who've said, we just are not able to find workers to fill some of these vacancies that we have without offering better benefits, better pay. It's sort of a better everything.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about all of this is that people talk about real wages, right? When you adjust how much you might be getting an increase in pay against the inflation of the goods that you have to use that pay for at the store. And we know that among obviously lower wage people, that has gotten very large because inflation in many cases is outsizing the gains that you might be getting in your pay. But this is also true for those wage growth earners in the older ages where you're not really necessarily expecting 7 to 8% nominal wage increases on a yearly basis. They're usually averaging something lower than that, at least before the pandemic. So when you take a look at inflation that is getting pretty close to double-digit levels, you do wonder if the whole argument that this is having a disparate impact on the lower wage is also discounting that this is also having an impact on the older, middle-age, middle-career cohort of people as well. So it just kind of shows how deeply entrenched inflation is to all groups across the country.